Well, good afternoon. This is Warren Davis on your live Investment Dominator Q&A call. And it looks like we have a limited, very few people on the call today. However, we're here on the 30th. This is January 30th and in the year 2020. So this is Thursday, January 20th. And those of you that are there, I'm going to do a quick sound check to make sure that you can hear me and see my screen. Right now, I've got make sure I'm on the right webinar here for Thursday. Okay, let me check a couple of things here. You should be able to see my screen and hear my voice. And it looks like we are January 30th. That's right, 12 noon. Okay. So, in any case, we're going to go on and get these questions answered. Okay. Those of you that are there, you can see my screen has all of the advantages to Investment Dominator. Looks at all of the different functions that Investment Dominator would take care of for you. So I'm just going to go back up and show you, those of you that are brand new, how you get your questions answered. I'll make sure that you're there. You can type in, send me your questions, and just type in your questions into the box there on your control board, and you type your question in and hit send, and your question will get to me. Okay, very good. So getting your questions answered, we're going to be looking at questions we had from our last class. Just want to, first of all, make sure you all know something. With regards to some of the students have become a little bit discouraged from time to time with, that are in the process of testing out their counties. And we do want you to know that if you're having any issue when you're testing out your mailings, some of you are at different stages, obviously, in the entire process. But the question that we're going to answer here is, what attitude should I have when I'm in the process of testing out my counties? And this is where you according to what we teach, you send out 500 mailings to one county, then you'll send another 500 out the next week to another county, and maybe a third county. And this is now after you've gone through the county selection process. Hopefully you know how to do that. But so the question I'm just going to answer is, what attitude should I have while I'm testing out my mailings? And we do want you to keep in mind, based on what we teach, from the LPG program, that what Jack teaches, remember the law of large numbers. Number one, people sometimes are slow to respond to your letters. So if you've been in any of the courses, especially where we teach the 2-day maximizer workshop for Investment Dominator, Jeff actually tells a story about where someone had literally, ripped up. He sent them an offer. So they had a mailing go out. They asked for an offer. They got an offer back. Someone literally ripped up the offer that he had written them, and he could tell because they sent it back to him with a signed agreement, but you could tell they had ripped it up, and they literally taped it back together and sent it to him months after he had sent it to them. So they were obviously, disgruntled, and they said, hey, we didn't want to do anything with this guy. But after months of thinking about it, their situation changed. They decided to put that offer together and send it. So remember, number one, people are a little slow to respond sometime to your letters. Number two, you may, on the first 500 letters that you send out on your first mailing, when you're testing accounting, again, we're talking about testing accounting, when you send out those first 500, you may get, just maybe 2 or 3, you might get 2 or 3 responses back, let's say out of that 500. Well, Jack teaches that we're shooting for the 10%, on accounting. You're trying to determine, is this a good county? So it might be a little discouraging. And I remember, a long time ago, I was in church and a young lady came up to me, a real little girl, and she was so sweet. She said, I am so disencouraged right now. And so basically, we don't want you to be disencouraged. We don't want you to be discouraged. If you're mailing out some mailings and you don't seem like you're getting a whole bunch of phone calls back, remember, you could send out that second 500 in mailing, and you could get 50 or 60 calls from that. I remember when we first got into business more than 3+ years ago, we were mailing to 5 different counties, and we were mailing, we could only afford to do 250 letters per week. So we sent out our 250 letters per week. And just want you to know, we mailed for almost 7 weeks. So we mailed right at 7 weeks, going on our 8th week. So it was almost 2 months before we got one single response back saying that they even wanted an offer, and from the different counties. And we were mailing to each county every week, 250 mailings. So they were going out week after week after week. And we weren't seeing a whole bunch of, calls back. But I want you to know, once we got those first few calls, we just continued to we stayed a course, we continued to do 250 a week to our different counties. We had 5 different counties. And I just want you to know that it started to pick up momentum. And we actually we got our largest deal to date from one of the counties that I would have considered to be a dog. I would have thought, this is just not a good county. But we ended up getting our largest deal that we've had so far to date from that one county that we considered to be a dog. So my point is stay your course for at least a couple of months. You should be getting some response back if you've selected your counties, relatively well. Just want you to be encouraged. It doesn't sometimes happen fast, but then when it starts up, the system and works, and it will pick up momentum as you go along, as you stay the course. So be encouraged that you can still you can make this business will work. It just does work, and it's just a matter of you staying consistent and doing the work that you do every week, and seeing the process happen. Now, if you do mail, for a couple of months to a particular county or counties, and you just look like, okay, you don't get any calls back at all. If I were to send 2 mailings to a county and I wouldn't get any response back at all after a couple of months, I'm probably going to say, okay, I don't want to continue with that county. But this is one of the most challenging parts of this business, is you want to determine if you're in a county that's going to really be profitable for you. And so I know people struggle with that, but I want you to know that all of us have had to go through some times of struggle, and it's a part of the business, but you can do it. Trust me, you can do it. And if you pick 7 or 10 counties, if one of those counties seem like a dud, just replace it with one of the other counties in your list and start mailing to that county. But you got to hang in there and know that it's going to happen for you, because it will, if you stay consistent. All right, enough on that. We're going to look at a question we had last week from Eileen. She had a question on how to get the existing. She really had it's about really producing a custom sales agreement. So her question was, how do I get how do I get the existing LPG offer sales agreement to put in a short description that she puts into her Investment Dominator? She wants to put in a short description instead of using the Exhibit A. So how to get the existing LPG offer sales agreement. Okay, to include, and basically she wants to bring in a field where it's a short legal description. And this really requires you to, make a custom document. And so I'm going to go through this a little bit fast because we have quite a few. There's articles on how to create a custom document. But if I went up under help and I search our user guide, and I'm just going to type in Jack, because these are, okay, how to customize Jack's offer templates, how to customize his neutral letter, and this is the one you want, how to customize Jack's offer templates. And it's going to give you a series of steps here to customize and create a custom document. And the particular sale agreement is this one, how to create a custom offer template. And this is the one you're going to have to change in order to have this work. So I'm going to pull this aside for right now and just go into, if you want to create a custom document, you simply come under Customize and Custom Documents, and you're going to say Add a Document right here. And obviously we want to do it for land only, and we want to create both a document file and a PDF file. So you want the system to create both for you, and we might just call them this custom offer template, special. That's what we'll call it today. And the status, obviously, you're going to be looking at since this is an offer, pending preliminary research, right? And you leave it portrait, and you're going to, we're going to get into this insert the mail merge, but here is where you pulled up that article that I just showed you. We're going to come in here and we're going to hit source. And you notice that disables all of these different commands at this point. Whenever you hit source will disable it. We're going to copy some text in here, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to copy basically. Is this content right here. This is actually an active link. So we left click on that, and it brings up all of this HTML code. Now, you don't have to know how to modify HTML. All you have to do is select all of this. So I'm going to copy all of this. Make sure I have all of it. And just, if I want to do it the best way, I'm going to just hit, okay, I'll hit a Control A, hold the Control key down and hit A at the same time. You see it gets all of this data all at one time. Now I want to do a Control C, hold the Control key down and hit C. That's going to bring, that's going to copy all of that where I want to copy it. All right. And basically then I'm going to bring it into here. I'm going to put my cursor up here in the corner. I'm going to hit Control, hold the Control key down, hit V as in Victor, Control V, and that pastes everything in here. Now, obviously we don't want you to have to know how to do this kind of modification with HTML. So you just hit the source again, and it comes back into more of a readable text for you. And what you're interested in doing now, according to what Eileen has said, she wants to put in, instead of Exhibit A, legal description, see Exhibit A, she actually wants to put in the short legal description, which is an actual field that we have in Investment Dominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor here after Exhibit A. All right, maybe make one or two spaces, and I'm going to come up under the Insert Merge field, that's a drop down, and I'm gonna come all the way down to the bottom. See where it says property short legal. So this is an embedded code that you can put in, and you just left click and select that, and see how it brings in property short legal. She wants that instead of having see Exhibit A. So she doesn't have to include Exhibit A. And this is your choice. You can do this. Basically, what Eileen's trying to do is put everything on one document rather than having to have this sale agreement go to the seller and have a separate Exhibit A document. She wants everything on one page. Nothing wrong with that. So here, you leave the rest of it just as it is. And let's see here. I go back to the rest of my document here that I want to make sure we get this right. So when we're creating our document, you want to allow, generate, enable. So you want it to make a label, not an envelope, but a label. And allow export, yes. Allow bulk update, yes. Per each property, you can leave that as yes. And you want to move to I'm looking for offer options sent, I believe. Offers, I'll just put it to offers sent. That's fine. Okay, so this is our custom document, and we're going to say add. Okay, so basically, if we come to the bottom, let's see, make sure it's not within there. Neighbor letter. Custom offer template special. Okay, so this is the custom offer template, and if we do a document preview here, it's going to bring this up, and the legal description. You see in here, legal description. Instead of it saying, see the Exhibit A, the actual legal description that was in the record for this particular land record is showing here. So that's an example of how quickly you can create a custom document. Now, when you actually retrieve that document, I just want to make sure you guys understand this, because a lot of people get confused here. When you retrieve that document, let's just say if I wanted to get all of my, let's see, offer requests. So I've got a lot of pending preliminary research. When I go to retrieve those offers, okay, I don't want to look at this offer here, because remember, I created a custom document. And I got confused about this quite a bit when I was first in the business, so I want to make sure you all understand. But you have a custom document template area. These are all of your custom documents that you create. And you should be able to go to the very bottom, and here's our custom offer template. So if I were to open that, now for each record, if there's a legal description in the record, it's going to show up under legal description. As opposed to, okay, that's the one we created. But sometimes a lot of folks will create a custom document, but then they go back and try to see it at this level. And if you open that one, you see legal description has C Exhibit A. That's not the one you want. You want the one that you created, your custom offer, that has the legal description. So I just want to make sure I point that out so that you know which one of these you're going to go after. All right. And that's basically how you would create any custom document that you want to create in the Investment Dominator. We allow you a lot of flexibility there to create your custom documents. So again, if there's any questions, just type in your question there and it will get to me. So we did have another question that came in from a coaching student, actually a real sharp individual. They are doing well. And it was Josette. And she had mentioned, how to have or how to know Pat Live's, if those of you that are using Pat Live activity, basically their most recent activity. Okay, so let me set the scene for you here. So you know that you have the capability to have Pat Live as one of your team members. So you can have a Pat Live representative, as I do here. So when they log into your system, remember, they're going to take all these records that are in prospect status. Someone calls in and says, hey, I'm interested in an offer. They're going to then capture all that person's information. Then they're going to put it in pending preliminary research, which is lets you know, okay, now you need to swing into action and actually give these folks an offer. But the question came in because what Josette was trying to do, she had a whole bunch of these records, as you see here. Like she had a couple of pages. So I think she had a total of 24 records in her system. So what she was trying to do is she wanted to make sure that she got to the oldest record first, okay? The oldest record, so that, because those are the customers that have been waiting quite a while for an offer. So she wanted to say, okay, how do I get to the oldest one first? Now, I want you to know that as Pat Live comes into your system and they change a prospect to a pending preliminary research status, the system pretty much puts the most recent one, because it's based on the last updated date, right? You can see this was January 29th, the last time it was updated. It puts those at the top. So theoretically, the ones in your list for pending preliminary research, down towards the bottom, this would be the oldest record. So when I want to get to my oldest record, I go to the bottom of my list and I just start working backwards up the list. This should be the oldest, this is the next oldest, etc. But sometimes, like in Josette's case, she might have gone in and done something to one of these records. So it's out of order. It's up here, it may be up here, but she actually wants to get the oldest record that Pat Live, the oldest record that Pat Live was updated. She wants to do that record first. So let me tell you another way you can ensure that you know Pat Live's activity. You can go up here to team and you want to go to activity log. Okay, so I left clicked on team, now I'm activity log. And as you can see, any work that I've done as a user is recorded, but also any work that Pat Live has done. And I want you to know that the way this is set up, if you want to search for all of Pat Live's activity, you can come over here, you can search the activity log by user. And here's another important thing you have to know. When you're searching by user, you don't want to just type in this Pat Live Rep 2, because Pat Live Rep 2, okay, let me explain it to you the best way I can here. See, Pat Live is a first name in the system, and Rep 2 is the last name. So when you're looking for activity, you're usually looking for the last name. When it talks about user, you want to specify Rep 2, not the first, not Pat Live. So in order to search for all of Pat Live's records, I'm going to say Rep 2 and search. Now this gives me all of Pat Live's activity. You see, the user's Pat Live. Now, the beautiful thing here is if I want to look at the oldest record first, what they worked on like a long time ago, or the last, the most oldest record that they worked on, I can come in here by date. Remember, this is by date, the 29th at 10:02, the 29th at 9:58, 9:57. So you see how it goes backwards. So then I would do the same thing. I'm going to just start at the very bottom of my Pat Live rep list, and I'm going to start looking. And here's the beautiful thing too. This is an active link. So when I click on this, this is going to take me right into record number 354. So I'm going to just go into that record, and boom, I'm here. And I'm going to do my analysis now on the oldest record in the list. I'm hoping that that's making sense to you guys. So that, and again, the whole goal here is to find Pat Live's most recent work, or the oldest work that they've done in putting in my offer request. Because when they go in and do my offer request, again, I'll search for user rep 2. Pat Live, and this is a demo account, obviously, but for like in Josette's case, Pat Live had done work back in like early January. So this date would have been, the 1st of January, and this one maybe was the 3rd of January, and this one was maybe the 5th of January, but you work backwards, and you can always go directly into the record that Pat Live has done for you. Now, this is for those of you that are using Pat Live. Okay, so I know that's kind of a long-winded answer, but I want to make sure you understand that's how you would find your activity. Again, you should be able to hit offer request and simply go page down to the last page and start working backwards that way too. All right. So, okay, we had a question from Nick, and when we were doing our notes discussion. So again, your notes have to do with any of your seller financing deals. Right now, the way the system is set up, when you add a new note, the only thing that's available, the only type that's available right now is loan. Lease purchase is coming. So those of you that want to do seller financing with notes, the only thing you can do right now is a loan, which has to do or is connected to that amortized schedule. And I don't do those. We do lease purchases. So right now I can't use this portion of the system because it's only for loans, and lease purchase functionality is coming. So from the notes discussion, Nick had a question. He said, with the land, if we create more than 3 notes a year, can we create more than 3 notes a year? Okay, create more than 3 notes a year and it'd be legal. And I certainly hope we can. In this land business, we definitely can. If I look at another account over here, let's see, match this one. This, remember, I did the example for you all on Monday where I had my notes, and I've got 3 in here. So right now, the way it's set up, if I go to do a new note, it's going to give me this message that my account limit is at 3 notes, and that I can't generate right now more than 3 notes in the system for free. But what I have to do is call the customer service, and I have to upgrade my account so that I can have more than 3 notes at a time. 3 note accounts. So his question was, well, can we create more than 3 notes legally? And I can honestly tell you, yeah, we've been doing it for the last 3 years. We have many more than just 3 seller financing deals going. So I don't exactly know what his concern was in terms of being able to generate more than 3 notes a year. I haven't heard that there's any particular anything I'm violating by creating more than 3 note accounts per year, because we definitely have more than 3 seller financing deals going, even currently. And I certainly hope I'm not breaking any laws, because you know, I don't think I look good in black and white stripes. That's a joke there. If I were going to be in prison, I don't want to. I'm certainly hoping I'm not breaking any laws. So, to my knowledge, we can definitely have more than 3 notes per year and everything be legal. Okay, if anybody knows anything different, you know, type it in, and I'll be happy to share it with the group here. Okay, so moving on. Okay, we had another like customization question that came in, and I don't know why this one. These anytime I'm messing with envelopes, it's always been a little bit of a challenge, because since we've been in the business, I think the only time I've changed an envelope or created a custom envelope is when I was demonstrating it on our call like I'm doing now. So the question came in from Joanne. She wanted to add return service requested. Or she just wanted to be able to add some verbiage onto an envelope and customize it. And the best way that I could share with how you do that, I'm going to be probably be our land deals area. I'm going to go to our campaigns just so you can see what I'm talking about here. These are our envelopes. I'm going to say to generate an envelope template, because what you have to do is create an actual template. So if you want an envelope template to look at first, you can generate this template. And I don't know why sometimes when I have to do select it twice for it to actually show. Okay, so if you had your company name, you would have your company name up in the left corner. And now these fields here, remember, these are fields that letterprinting.net is going to use so while they're doing your mail merge along with this order ID. So you have to create a custom envelope that has all of these fields, has your company information, has your order ID, and you have to create a document that looks something like this here. So what we'll do for now, we'll kind of move this out of the way, but I just want you to see what it's going to look like. And then, of course, we're going to, as usual, we're going to go into our customize and custom documents. And we are, of course, going to say we're going to add a document. It's going to be for land only. Okay. All right. And we're going to say we're going to create both. And custom envelope. You'll say special, and we're going to, in terms of status, I think it would definitely be prospect status, portrait, and in this case, we do want to say landscape because it's more of a landscaped type feel. And we're going to then copy the contents of our customized envelope that we showed in this example. You want to as much as possible, copy what you can here. Warren. Let's see. All right, sorry about that. So land only and both and customize, custom elope. See, status again is prospect. We're going to select landscaped. And now we're here at the document content. So we want to put in our information. And let me show you. Okay, so to do a one line, you want to do shift and enter to bring it right to the next line. So when I get to the end of this, I put my cursor here, I hold the shift key down, I do an enter, which brings me right down to the next line. And then Scottsdale, I want to do again, shift, enter. All right, so that's the first part of our envelope, just like we have it here. And you can, bold it. So now I want to do a shift, enter, come down a few lines. And you're basically, you have to put a few spaces in there. You're basically trying to create a document that looks something like this. Now, unfortunately, system doesn't allow you to copy all of these fields like you see them here. So you got to take your time and you do one at a time. Your old company, and you have to put in the little, and you can do it like this. But you're basically going to copy all of these fields, and the only thing you can do is copy the actual field name. If I try, for some reason, if I try to copy the entire with these characters, it doesn't include the actual name of the field. You got to be kidding me. There we go again. All right, both, but I think you're getting the gist of what I'm doing here. Below SPC. Okay, and it has to be landscape. Okay, so you're getting the gist of what has to happen here on each. You copy this, and so basically what you're going to end up with is an actual copy of shift enter, then shift enter, and you space over, and you're gonna actually put in everything that whatever the score name, whatever the fields were that we have here. Now, one of the first things, since she wants to have the text, what she said she wanted to have the text, return service requested. And what this is saying, in some situations when you're dealing with the post office, you want to let them know, I want to pay for return service to be requested. Kind of like what we do when we go to LetterNet printing and we have them put together our neutral letters. We pay for first class, so they automatically include this service where if they don't find the address, they will return that letter to us. And I believe that's what she's asking for here, but she wants to be able to actually type it in on her envelope so that essentially when we're done here, so after you've typed in all the fields you want and you basically have made it look like this here, like this envelope up here, and you've added your return service requested, you then come down and you finish it off here by saying, in this case, it is an envelope, right? But so you can save it as such. Yes, yes on the bulk, and you want to move it again to prospect status, and let's just say we're going to add this. We're going to call it custom envelope special. So I've already got one in here. So what I'm going to show you what it looks like under my custom documents. I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay. Go back to my other account over here under custom documents. Here we go. Thank you. All these other custom, I've already done a custom envelope here. I created this so that we could see exactly what it looks like. If we do a document preview, this is what it's going to look like when you're all done. Return service requested and all of your different field numbers. And don't forget your order ID down at the very end. So this is what your customized envelope basically is going to look like. Now, once you have you've done that, of course, you've saved it. And when you access it, remember, it's called, customized envelope 1. So that's what we call this one. So we go into our land deals. When you get ready to access it, you can't look at this envelope up here, but you have to look for all of your custom templates below. And here we have our custom envelope 1, and it's already it is already in this particular, see, it's already got our return service requested, and this is where we would find our custom envelopes. A lot of folks will create a custom document and then they're still looking for it under these, like they'd be looking for it in this download envelope because they're dealing with their prospect neutral letter. Don't forget, whenever you create a custom document, you have to look for it in the section of custom document. Okay, so I'm hoping that is somewhat answers the question. If you wanted to add anything to our envelopes and you want to make your own, you have to create a custom envelope document. Okay, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and type them in. We're going to move on here. So Paul had a question from our last call. He made a suggestion. And his suggestion had to do with, I think we should countersign an offer. Okay, countersign an offer. Okay, an offer after the seller signs. So this is a big controversial, part of this business, and it's trust me, I haven't seen it where it's one is better than the others. They're just different ways of handling business. His point is otherwise, the seller could change any of the information, and we've already put our name on it. So what Paul's talking about is when we send out our offers here, I send out my offer, and we're going to mail these out to our sellers saying, hey, this is how much money you're going to get for this property. And some people don't sign the offers before they send them out. Our company does sign the offers. So I know, I'm talking to people that do sign the offers before they send them out. Others don't sign the offer. I really don't think it hurts anything if you sign the offer. If you don't sign the offer, I don't think it hurts anything either. It's just a different way of doing business. It's whatever your preference is. But Paul is saying, if we sign this, if I put my name on this, and the seller comes in here and changes something, and then tries to get, pull the wool over my eyes or get it past me, we've already signed our name, and the seller can, can make us liable for something that we did not agree to. Well, yes and no, but because of this one statement here, I love this about this business. This one statement, the buyer retains the right to cancel the sale agreement at any time for any reason. If I'm dealing with a seller and they have either, done something with the purchase price, tried to somehow up the purchase price, and I know that's unethical. If they've done that, buyer returns the right to cancel the sale agreement at any time for any reason. I will cancel the sale agreement and I won't do business with them if I feel like they're being unethical or they're trying to pull something over on me. So keep that in mind, that you have a right to terminate this sale agreement for any reason. And the fact that I considered them to be unethical would be my reason for canceling the sale agreement. So that stated, I'm not worried about if they try to, get out. So we have a question here from Paul. All right. What if the buyer scratches out the right to cancel a statement and you've already signed it? Okay. Well, it's a good question, Paul. That's a good question. If I'm dealing with somebody that is like that, where they would, go to the point of scratching this out, all right, I know that they've modified the document that I signed it, because I didn't send them document with this scratched out. So if they did scratch that out, hey, I would look at it like, okay, this person is not ethical. I have signed this document, and basically, to my knowledge, that would not hold up in court if they tried to, scratch this out and still, have me abide by this. Again, I would show the judge where my original copy says buyer retains the right to cancel the sale agreement at any time for any reason. And I'm pretty sure the judge could see that the seller had scratched this out on the document that they're presenting as evidence. So at that time, I still wouldn't be too worried about it, quite honestly. So, but that's a good question. So what if the seller, or I guess you're actually meaning the seller, if the seller scratches out? Because in this case, I'm the buyer, and I'm the one that's trying to buy their land. So that's why I'm the buyer that retains the right to cancel at any time. Okay, scratches out the statement. It's good to have these kind of discussions, and we get some answers to these questions, because people may run into that. Excuse me. Over the years we've been, the years we've been in the business, which has only been 3 years, this has not happened to us at this particular point. I guess maybe we've been fortunate to be dealing with, people that have some ethics and some, some character. But I imagine you could run into those kind of characters out there. So it's better to be ready for that type of situation. So think about it before you do business, and hopefully, you run into some ethical people. Like we're dealing with a buyer, or excuse me, a seller right now. It's funny, just from yesterday to today. We talked with her on Monday. She said, "Hey, if you send me a sales agreement upping your offer," we offered her. Let me think. We offered her $9,000 for her property, a little over $9,000. She wrote back and said, "Hey, I need to get a little bit more." So she upped it all the way to 20 grand. Well, I went back in, did some research, found out, okay, we'd make a little less profit, but we could offer her 20 grand. So we wrote up the deal. We sent her the offer, and we sent it to her for 20,000, just as what she asked for. So she sent us an email back saying, "Well, I've got another person that's offering me 20 grand, exactly what you're offering me, and the only difference is, they're saying they can close sooner than you. So, either sweeten the pot, give me more on my offer, or I'm going to go with this other person." So I called her back, just this morning before I got on this call, and I said, "Okay, Miss Seller, we'll be happy to offer you a little bit more for your offer. What would you like it to be?" And so she told us the amount, and we upped our offer, and we're ready to send her back another agreement. But she said, "Well, okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to talk to my brother, who is my partner, and I'm going to see if we are going to accept your offer." Now, see, twice she's already told us, "I will accept your offer if it's X amount of dollars," but she keeps trying to get more and more and more. Now, I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking I'm dealing with an unethical person here. And if she doesn't accept this final offer that we have, this is our final offer, I would not do business with her, and I won't take her property no matter what, because she may not be willing to sell it, but she may not be willing to sell me her property, but there's somebody else out there that will sell me their property. And so you kind of got to be able to stand your ground when you're dealing with people that may be a little unethical. All right. Enough of that. I'll get off of that. Yes. Okay. Okay. I appreciate your questions and your comments, and want you to know I always get inspired when I get a chance to talk to you folks out there, and I get a chance to talk to a lot of you, because this business can be challenging, and I'm just really inspired by the fact that you're courageous enough to take it on, and trust me, if you stick with it, it will pay dividends in your life. Okay. So the next question we had from Morgan. Well, I tell you, our time really goes by fast here when we get into these good discussions. Morgan asks, how do I have my CSV file import in, Latitude and Longitude into the Investment Dominator? Okay. And where does that show up in the Investment Dominator? Okay, so I'm going to go to how to import. There's an article on how to import your land investing. I'm sure all of you have seen this. But if I were going to bring in Latitude and Longitude, I would simply bring it in the Investment Dominator under, and in this particular field here. Now notice this is not a required field according to Investment Dominator, because it's not one of the colored fields in our import. I would bring it right in here into property address. And this even says, property address or GPS coordinates. This is where I would bring that into, if I were importing data into Investment Dominator that has that information. Okay, and import, let's see. Let me find one here. So if I were importing this file into Investment Dominator, as you can see, and I had access to latitude and longitude, I would just make another column here. Oh, I think it's already there, as a matter of fact. Thank you. I think it's already here. Okay, so we already have property address as a field here. So I would simply use that field and put in my latitude and longitude if I were importing that into Investment Dominator, and it will come in just fine. And then you can manipulate it when you get into Investment Dominator. Okay. Pretty straightforward question. Let me see if I can get some more here before we get off our call. That's a good question from Morgan. And then we had a good question from one of our coaching students, Fritz. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not getting any. Okay. Okay. Yeah, real quick, Paul, I think I can answer that question for you here since we're here. I'll save these other questions, we'll answer them on Monday. Basically, how to add photos to a listing for an accepted offer. Okay. No problem. Okay, real quick. This is probably all we have time for here today. Go into your files, and let's just say I've got an offer request here, and I want to add a picture for this particular record. I'm going to edit the record, scroll all the way down to where, you can see some have already been added here, but if there weren't. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have that picture, first of all, on my computer somewhere. So I'm going to locate the file, and then I'm going to, let's see, I can do that, or let me do something better because I have different pictures in here of land. Okay, so if I wanted to bring in one of these land pictures, I'm going to, on my computer now, I'm going to locate it, and I'm going to double click on it, and it's going to bring it in right now to this point. Now all it's done is brought it into the Investment Dominator, but we haven't really completed the upload of the picture. It's just brought the connection of the picture. So I'm going to do start upload. So the first thing I do, locate file, then I start upload. And as you can see now, it's bringing it in here, which is a little different than it's been functioning at lately. But in any case, it brings it in here. Now, at this point, please don't forget to update your record, because Investment Dominator doesn't automatically, to my knowledge, do that at this point. So now all you do is bring it in, update, save it, update your record, and there's your picture. So it's locate, find it on your computer, bring it in, start the upload, and that's it. Okay, and then of course you want to say update record, and you're good. Okay, so again, you can watch this replay if you want real quick, and you can be uploading your pictures. So before I go, I want to say happy Thursday to everybody, and for this thought, I want to leave with you. Don't be afraid of your fears. They're not there to scare you. They're there to let you know that something is worth it. So if you're experiencing a little apprehension, pulling the trigger to either test those counties or, send those letters out, hey, get past that. Go on and pull the trigger. And because if you're afraid of something, it only lets you know it's excitement that this is worth doing. And I can honestly say to you, this business is worth doing. So that's it for today, folks. Have a great remainder of your week, and hopefully y'all have a good weekend. We'll be back here Monday, 5 p.m. to answer some more of your questions. All right. Thank you much, Paul. I appreciate your questions too, my friend. You guys have a great time. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.